Okay. Yes. Yes, sir. We are live. Good morning.
All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Stand Up. I think everybody knows the drill, but we'll just be going through in alphabetical order, and you just kind of talk about what you worked on since Monday and what you're going to work on till Friday. Um, I'm going to start with Atish. Um,
Um, so I was trying to work on super bass, but I think the reason everything's slow and they didn't note this, I just kind of saw, was that we are exceeding usage limits. So they have this cap on what is it, like disk CPU gigabyte hours or something. I just like looked at the billing or whatever, and it's storage times time is the calculation they use. And so we're a bit over, and they were like, okay, if you're over, then things may slow down. So I discussed with Subod using like percentiles to um enlarge how many people are in our like population if we have under like 500 or whatever specification. And that was slow as well, so I think it might just be the usage uh limit. So since I was kind of blocked there because I didn't want to just pay for it, I switched to working for the recursive agents. So I added the prompts for like checking causality and refining the idea and some more Landgraph stuff. And I think it all works except I got rate limited by GPT and Gemini before I could be sure. So then I just went to bed. Um, yeah, I'll just be working on those two things till Friday.
Atish, if you want to wait, if you want to meet after stand up, we can go through the SEPA base limits and figure out what's going on there.
Sure.
And are we for the GPT-4 is it back on?
Yeah, I believe I increased the limits, but I don't know if it worked. I didn't test it. I wanted to go through the API keys with you because I found 6 API keys, but only one of them was in Doppler, and then of the four OpenAI, 3 or 4 OpenAI Doppler keys, I only found one of them in our account. So maybe we can clean that up together,
Yeah.
guys. A
sorry,
good
what's it?
good
Yeah.
news. We hit a pretty big record OpenAI token usage in February. So nice work. Devs, nice work. I assume a lot of that cost came from replicating experiments. So nice work, everyone. I'm very happy that we used so many tokens and we're testing the product so hard.
All right. Um, Thanks, Atish. We'll do Mehul next because he requested to go already.
Um, since Monday, I've been working on persona creation and helping everybody, the team out with getting the product live with miscellaneous bugs. One of the bugs was the pagination issue. With too many experiments, pagination wasn't working. That's the PR is up for it. It should be fixed. And persona creation, I was able to successfully upload a sample PDF. I think I was able to upload the YABL PDF and generate personas based on that. We haven't gotten to a point where we can test that the personas in an experiment, but the UI side and sending it to the backend is complete. Uh, we'll probably pick that up once the bugs are the rest of the product is stable. So just working on miscellaneous bugs and persona creation.
That's a really important pipeline, Mahul. At some point, we will want to use that same endpoint that you're building to connect to a customer data platform or a CRM to build personas based on some sort of third party schema. So that's very important. That's very nice.
Yeah, I think I haven't scoped it out for that. But if you have a existing ticket, or if you could scope out a ticket on that, I could see if the feature currently supports what you're suggesting.
Yes, sir. I will do that.
All right. Thanks, Mio. Next up is Ambuj.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So coming to my task, I've made another repository named DocChat. I put it in the chat below. Um, so yeah, I've also deployed this using Docker. If anyone wants to look at it, they can. I'll be also adding a README file soon. Uh, but I guess for my next steps is just to sit with the engineering team and try to see what else I can add in this and any improvements that I can make. Probably want to have a session with Subodh or Avi on this.
Ambuj, don't make any other improvements. Just get what you have into development so that it can be used. Let's see if we can just
Sure.
deploy this.
Okay. So I guess that's all for me, guys.
Next up is Avi.
Um, onboarding. I'm onboarding Joaquim today. Yesterday and the day before, I finished the investor list, the grant list. Started reaching out to investors. Already got some good feedback. Moved a bunch of like spending accounts to our new bank, which is hopefully going to give us some venture debt. So a lot of those. It's amazing how many subscriptions we have. So a lot of those old subscriptions are expiring. As they're expiring, I'm moving them onto the new account. Please, if you guys see something expired, point it out to me so I can fix it. I would love if there was some sort of system that we could use where we could like manage all of our subscriptions. Right now, I don't really have a good handle of that. I spend like 6 months or a year signing up for subscriptions, and then like once a year we change a credit card so that all the old subscriptions get washed out, which is not the best way to do that. So if anyone knows of a tool to manage subscriptions, I would love that. Did the
Put it on the chat. If anyone has ideas, put it on the chat for Avi.
I know there are tools that do that. I just don't know what they are. Yeah. And then we did the sprint planning. Thank you, Subodh. Thank you, Tativik. Thank you, Pablo. I posted that in the, I think, general channel. I'd like to maybe review that sprint plan for the next 2 weeks, maybe as a part of the demo for this meeting. And yeah, and that's it.
Alright, thanks, Avi. I keep getting ads for a service that manages subscriptions. It's called Rocket Money, but I don't know if that's really like enterprise grade stuff. It's probably focused on clients, like users. But I'll put it in the chat anyway. I don't know if you've heard of it.
That's actually a good idea.
Alright, I'll go next. So on Monday we had a meeting with AWS and we got a feeler on whether we should migrate from GCP to AWS. It looks good preliminarily, but yeah, I mean, it depends on how many migration credits they're going to give us. That's my take. If we get a lot of those, then it's, I think, worth moving because they offer kind of like the same functionality, more or less, minus some of the rate limits, hopefully. Besides that, I've been working with Florian on the automation, and there's not much to really report. I just have to do some testing. I'm working on like the tail end of that, and Florian is, I think, doing most of the heavy lifting. I'd say he's made like an endpoint. I'll let him do his updates, but yeah, there's not really a big update from me on that, but that's kind of what we're working on, and yeah, that's it from me. If there aren't any questions, I think Florian, you can go.
Okay. Happy Wednesday, team. Yeah, Shin said I'm working on the market research automation thing. I finished the pipeline to replicate all their experiments, and I just ran into a blocker with the Open API quota limitation thing, but I'm running it now and it seems to be lifted, so that's good. So I can see the output and evaluate what we have to change and what we can keep. Yeah, so that's probably what I'll be working on until I guess we spend all the credits, or at least get the runs to spend all the credits.
Just to add on that, so in dev now we have made sort of GCP Sonnet as a default. So I would say if we are in dev or test, like literally use all the free ones, and let's only use OpenAI for the prod, because we are mostly testing something midway, so it doesn't really matter what we are using, right? And once we are sure everything works, do one final check with OpenAI just to make sure it will stand still in the prod, and we do ship it.
Well, one thing I noticed, by the way, for OpenAI, I don't know if we're using GPT-4, but GPT-4 has, I think, like a 2 million token per minute ceiling, but for O Mini or a bunch of the other ones have 150 million token per minute. And so we can get almost a 100x speed up, assuming the inference is our bottleneck. Could we consider moving to one of the faster models if we are using OpenAI? So I've noticed the experiments are getting a bit slower.
I think we use GPT 4.0. Marty
Okay.
can probably confirm, but it's 4.0.
Avi, is that a quota or is that like the speed? 'Cause-
Speed.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Also,
current
suppose-
issue was the quota, right, Chen? It was not the speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, inference is okay, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, but you said, suppose that Sonnet works, GCP Sonnet works without any issues
Yeah,
right now?
yeah,
in dev?
yeah, yep. So in the dev, if you try to run an experiment, everything happens with GCP Sonnet. Causality, attributes, infection, everything.
Okay.
We literally made that change like today morning once we realized that OpenAI quota was up.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
run from the Swagger, just specify experimental LLM model as whatever, Sonnet, Haiku, and then there's one with these three work, which we know.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
So
Yeah.
in terms of like speed, I think Flash will probably deliver the quickest time per experiment instead of Sonnet or GPT. Like I noticed running the human baselines that it's much quicker.
Yeah. All right. I mean, because I guess we were working on like adding 3.7, and then that's when we realized like, I guess none of the clouds from GCP were like they were all hitting like the rate limits, right, Florian? Or that was happening, right? So I'm kind of surprised that it's working now.
For Sonnet or for
Like all the anthropic models were hitting like a rate limit, right?
I
So-
think actually for some reason like Sonnet worked. It was just Haiku and Opus.
Sonnet, Haiku, and there is one more. These three works.
Okay, that's good news. All right. Anyway, let's move on. I guess I think Hadi is next.
Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. So since Monday I worked on fixing bugs in ideation page for the threads and the operation threads in VoiceRip, and we saw that there is one issue with the error displaying. I found out that that's for the state which is inside the history. We need to like move it to ideation up to when we go back to what step steps in who gets reset. That's why it's creating some issues. So I will be fixing that.
Are we
Right.
close, Hadi, in terms of timeline?
Yeah, half
Okay, nice.
because yeah.
Um, thanks, Hadi. Next up is Linnea.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. I've been finishing up that radar plot. I can show it to everyone later. I did want to ask, so that's not possible in Vega. So it's in Plotly instead, which is a different R package, and I just wanted to check if there's anything. Actually, I can text this too, but anything complicated about adding a new R package to the program. But I can also just push it to dev and see if it breaks everything. But I figured maybe I'd ask. Other than that, I want to rework the little help button texts I was talking to Pablo about, what would be useful. So I'm doing that and working on the report download. Yep, that's me.
Next up we have Lucy.
Hi everyone. So yesterday I was mainly focusing on working on the product video, and then I made two versions, one 30-second, the shorter one, and one with the longer version, the 1 minute and 30 seconds one. And then I think we'll be putting it on YouTube and sending out with our blog, and also we'll be marketing the video to social medias today and tomorrow, and I'll show a demo at the end of the two different versions. Yeah.
Sounds good. Next up we have Madi.
Hello everyone. Here are the tasks that I did. So update the runs response to the runs endpoint to only return the necessary fields. So currently, currently the runs endpoint returns all the runs info, which is a huge data, and we don't need all of this. For example, I did a test. So the current response was 3.2 megabytes. But when I updated the runs endpoint and only returned the necessary fields, then it became 197 KB, which is 93.8% of reduction. So that's one thing, and with this we are able to do all the experiments of the user, not limited to 10.
Oh,
so this is
that's
one
such a
thing,
big limitation. Is that also going to fix the speed of the human baseline showcase? Or is that a separate endpoint?
That's a separate. We can improve that also. I will note that. So this is next. I updated the documentation, included the release process, development process, all the architecture. I maybe demo that at the end, and updated the documentation. Next, worked on the actually handle the sample size in server execution. It is a good work, but we somehow worked together at the end. And also, then since there was GPT, since GPT was out of credit, so we set the experiment in a way that if it's in production, it uses GPT-4, If it's in test, local, or development, we use GCP Sonnet. And after that, since we use GCP Sonnet, the prompt, GCP Sonnet didn't apply all the instructions. For example, it responded with non-JSON, so updated the prompt a little bit, the prompts a little bit. So yeah, these are all my works.
Thank you, Mati. Next up is Nick.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening. So I've been working with Pablo on kind of outreach, automating outreach, uploading contacts, kind of enriching all of the information about contacts, and then setting up some automations in Apollo. Started sending out some emails. I got my first demo scheduled for next week. Oh, that got somebody's attention. So a friend and a former colleague who runs a marketing agency called Transparent Partners. So he clicked on the link and scheduled the demo for next week. I'm just gonna kind of keep going through and reaching out to people. We're kind of reaching out to about 25 people a day because we don't want to get caught up in spam filters and stuff like that. So it's exciting stuff. And then Avi and Pablo, I have a list of VCs that I know who generally invest in early stage companies. I'll send you their names, and if you want an introduction, I'll be happy to do that. And that's it from me for now.
Yeah, that'd be great, Nick. Nice work. So so you sent 25 and you got one response already. That's a good hit rate. One meeting.
Actually, I got 2 responses. One of them asked for additional information. My friend works for a company that does creative optimization. So I need to send him information about how you can use our platform for creative optimization. So I'll make that up this morning.
Nick, there's a shortcut that I can show you that'll answer that and any of those like use case questions. I got a nice little present for you coming up. So connect after.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, next up is Pablo, so you can just go.
Crap. How do I follow that? What did I do yesterday? Onboarding. Nick, get him up to speed, getting him to be all set for Apollo to do outreach at scale. We could also increase the possibility of outreach if we go through LinkedIn, where we're maxed out at 50, not 25, and with no constraints outside of that. And so lots of opportunity there, doing my own outreach again, which feels fantastic. Met with the marketing team. Lucy and Mia did a lot of great work in preparation for go-to-market motion for this latest release. I think we are ready to go. We just need approvals. Let's get that up and running. I want to send that out today. We're in the 98-yard line, so that's really good work. Also, thanks to Avi, brought in and pulled over 1,200 contacts into our blog, so we can use that as a major communication channel, as well as a great channel to further drip on people that have disappeared on us. Nick, if you give me their email, we can just upload it there as a subscriber and let the content fall on them. So I think that's a great opportunity to start doing that. Supported Avi on the fundraising front. I'm super excited about these new initiatives and outreach for our investors. I have to follow up. Sorry, I have to follow up with Kiana to get that all prepped up, but hopefully an opportunity for CTC to come in late in the game for our pre-seed round, a nice little 1 to 200K, real quick. And then I also scheduled another demo. I don't usually say these, those updates, but I did also schedule another demo. This one from a contact that had gone silent to us. It was a referral. I think it's called like Hyperlabs or whatever. So it's more of like a quantitative, like technical agency. Yeah, that's going to be slated for Thursday. I invited you, Nick, to that session, as well as Avi, so you can follow on. My advice for you, Nick, is for those demos that you are creating, go to those events and make sure that you add myself and Avi into them, especially for the first month, just to make sure that you have your support to kind of carry that through.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh, I should also add, Pablo, you reminded me, I had lunch yesterday with someone who's on the board of the University of Florida, and they were suggesting that that we try to market, or maybe he would market for us, like specifically to an industry. So he wants to do like higher education use cases. What type of programs, how should they market? So that was kind of interesting. He floated the idea of like an industry focused outreach effort. So I'll introduce you to him, Pablo, and see if you can engage him for higher ed.
Sounds good. I love talking. So.
All right. Subodh, it's your turn.
Nothing much, just fixing whatever bug I could and bothering people wherever I can't and making their life miserable, I guess, for this week. That's all is my update.
All right. Lastly, we have Tushar, unless I missed someone, but yeah.
Well, so I've been working on the ability to add your own attributes. I was integrating that. Rupesh had started it, so I was just like finalizing it and integrating it. I'll raise a PR for that. Also, I was adding shared scene components for better consistency throughout the app. Yeah, these are the two main things which I was doing. Otherwise, so I was fixing some minor bugs which were reported in the landing button. Yeah. Also, I had one question. I wanted to do Avi with you a quick feedback on the website POC so that I can get some direction on what to change and update.
Yeah, I'd love to do that as soon as possible. Also, Tushar, the Shad CN components that you're building, we have a bunch of like third-party tools that we're contemplating bringing on board, right? There's like the work that Mehul is doing for the new persona definitions. There's the collaboratory. There's the chat agent that Atish is building. Can you go through those components to make sure that they're all kind of use the same stack as well?
Yeah, sure. I will. I'll go through them.
Okay, yeah, and I can sit with you anytime today.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Tushar. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anyone, right? All right. So demos, I think there were a lot of demos. There were like 3 or 4 folks. Who wants to go first?
Just one thing before demo. So I had session with Sayed. There was his application worked locally, but there was an issue with deployment of it to GCP. So he wanted me to tell because he went to had some work, and yeah, this is his update.
Thank you, Mati. So the demos, I think Lucy, you were starting to say something.
Yeah. I will demonstrate the 30 seconds one first, and then the 1 minute version. This is the 30-second. And this is the 1 minute, the longer version.
Nice, Lucy. That was really good.
Thoughts, team.
I think the tagline, I don't think I understand it. Behavior change. Is that kind of what we're doing? Or like maybe, is that the best way to describe Subconscious?
That's on our GitHub. I just took it. Yeah.
Behavior change as a service. Does that work?
We can definitely experiment with that. Can we run an experiment to see what our tagline should be?
Any other thoughts?
I think. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's a bit derived behavior change as a service. So it's like if you run the experiment, right? You have all the features, you know what impacts, what doesn't. So you know, okay, which one to target, like which maybe if you want to emphasize, look for certain group, and then you know, okay, I can focus mainly my messaging or something around these attributes or these features, which will give me more traction with them. And hence that leads to a change in behavior. So it's not like straightforward pops up, but like this is the whole idea behind running any kind of experiment, right? So in a way, it kind of points to, okay, if I know what affects, what doesn't, hopefully I can use that to change the behavior. And hence probably the tagline.
No, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, Avi?
I love the experiment that you run there. We have one of our advisors, Howard Moskowitz. He kind of made his name at Harvard University running these experiments on consumer products. And, Malcolm Gladwell says that Howard brought more happiness to more people than any other human on earth, right? Great. That's the pro. The con, right, and Howard spent a lot of time in food science, is, if you look at the sugar documentary that came out on Netflix a year ago, they say that Howard is responsible for more diabetes than any human on earth. And the reason is, wait, stop right there, Lucy. The reason is, Howard discovered by doing these experiments that if you put sugar in anything, people like it. So whether it's like spaghetti sauce, orange juice, yogurt, whatever, Howard's experiments showed that more sugar means more sales. And over those over the 70s, 80s, 90s, sugar made its way into every single American food product because it increased revenue. So it's interesting to see here that sugar content is the highest attribute in that list. That's very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I was also surprised to see that sugar content is actually the first. I thought it would be something like brands or something because of brand loyalty, but apparently it wasn't brand. It's sugar content. That's pretty interesting.
Right. That's how Pepsi beat Coke.
At some point in the future, would it be possible to look at how sugar content's influence or importance changed over time?
So you can already do that, Nick, by creating an experiment and changing the time.
Yeah,
and replicating it and then marrying that over time, But you're right. You want to show trend over time.
Right. I mean, because in some of our materials we talk about predicting the future. And I think the first step in predicting the future is understanding what's happened in the past. So, I imagine it's easy to do today, relatively easy to do today. But, and this is, of course, if customers who are paying ask for this stuff, I envision at some point that we'll probably want to look at some kind of a time-trended analysis.
Yeah, there's 3 big segments of market research, right? There's typically it's quant, qual, and then brand, which is effectively the trends over time. And so we have a ticket which pretty much says for any experiment, sweep over time and then make a snaky chart over time for the attribute importance, which is quite straightforward. We just haven't done it yet, but that's a great call out. It would be quite expensive in terms of tokens. However, if we use a non-open AI model, maybe that's okay. The other slight tweak would be potentially the population would change over time. So if we use primarily census data, and as of 2016, I think, something like that. So we might have to create 5 or 10 census uploads and then do it every decade or whatever. It's possible. The short answer is yes, it's possible.
Wait, the latest census data we use is from 2016?
I,
2021, I think that was the
Oh,
latest.
sorry.
Okay.
Apologies. Thank you, Subodh.
They do it every 5 years. They call it ACS 5 years.
Yeah,
period
and
of
they
time.
do have annual updates though.
But
For some
that,
metric. I don't
but
know
yeah,
which.
but that's a really small set. The bigger one is where you have at least close to 100K, 200K per state is every 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a way to go. So let's say we take the last one, 2016. There is a way to basically go from 16, 17, 18 and change the population. Uh,
Although, in the past 5 years, we've had some unusual things happen, like
but it,
COVID.
yeah, so again, I mean, those require very specialized survey data. So if every year you collect some sample, right, and then you'll fit some model for everything, let's say income, gender, whether you get married, divorced, buy a car, and then basically run those models so that you have like a changing population trend every year based on whatever sample you have collected.
Right.
I mean, as a proof of concept, I think what we have is fine. We'll try to add more, but eventually it will be more like, okay, we have, this is what it is. Now you can bring your own population and run it. Because I don't think anybody will have access to all kinds of data in one place.
Let's keep going because there's a lot of demos. Nick, my answer to you is, let's find a client asking for that in particular, charge that client, and then give ourselves a 1 to 2 month roadmap to build it out. Also, if we connect to a CDP, we'd be more than happy to have all that actual real data and very simple to create trends and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother subject, right? Where we're ingesting client data to build it.
Actually, speaking of that whole other subject, I actually think a lot of, at least the people I know, the people I'm reaching out to, will be interested in kind of the, whatever you want to call it, the customized version of Subconscious, the one where they're feeding their own data. So,
love that.
I actually, just this morning, I was working on incorporating this language into my outreach. I assume it's okay to talk about this. I'm not promising that it's available today. I'm not promising that it'll be available 2 weeks after they ask for it. I just want to open up the conversation.
Yes, I love that, Nick. Let's connect after.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're in the money. So you're definitely in the money. That's exactly the path that we want to take it, that we intend to take it, etc. So good, yeah, good on you. Let's keep going.
Sorry, I just have one more thing. I think I would need the YouTube account access to put this on YouTube. Yeah, that's my only blocker.
I can get you that.
Okay.
Awesome. Final input, because this all started with Lucy. Damn good work, Lucy. The video looks great. I think the 30-second one actually looks even more polished, surprisingly. I don't know how you did that. So like for short form content, we can publish that. For the blog article around the latest update, I'd like to use the 1 minute one because it really touches on all of the elements, including ideation. And so once it's published on YouTube, just let me know. I'll embed that into the article and we can just publish. We're ready to go. So let's go live today. Great. Good work.
Thanks, Pablo. Thanks, Lucy, for the demo. Who's next?
I can go. Anyone else?
Elena, you can go.
Okay, sure. It'll be really quick. Sorry? Okay, I just want to show this plot quick and get everyone's opinion. If it loads. It's not loading, is it?
No, not for me.
Okay, let me try that again. Let's see. If not, I'll just send a picture in the chat. Okay, I think my internet is not up to this task today.
Well, try. Are you? It looks like you're streaming it at 60 frames per second. Try streaming at like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
good.
it works now, I think.
Yeah, great. Great. Yeah, so this is the new plot for showing how different mindsets value the various attributes. I wanted to get some input from like non-statistical, non-technical people if this is an intuitive rendering of this information. Like if you can understand it easily without too much explanation. Yeah, I also like this package because it allows for a lot of interactivity, so you can decide which mindsets you want to view. You can zoom, and you have the tooltips. So yeah, any opinions I am happy to hear.
I personally really like these charts, but I used to do statistics, and I'm a kind of I'm a data geek, so I think they're great, and I think we need to ask clients when we get them for feedback. But do you call them spider charts or radar charts?
I've been calling it a radar chart. You can call it either.
Okay. Yeah, I just really like them. I think it's a really nice way to show how different audiences are different across multiple dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks.
Yeah, I really like this. I think it looks much better than the other graphs, but I mean, not that this is replacing that, but I guess like one thing I'd suggest is when you toggle them, probably might be better to not change the zoom factor because it might be like disorienting. Like for example, when you turn off red, I guess you zoom in all the way, right?
Yeah, it zooms into it.
I mean, I guess it's still readable. That's probably not an issue. But yeah, that's just this looks great. I don't have any other issues.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I can see if I can turn that feature off. It like does it automatically, the zooming.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. And I know we talked about maybe replacing these with radar charts as well, but I'm not sure that that'll actually be useful because we'd have to make one for each trait. You can't portray all of this on a single chart. It'd have like 40 nodes. So yeah, I think this might be the way. I think we might have to keep these for this information.
One quick question, Linnea. The person ID, that is not actually a feature. That is just an ID identifier.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure why that's in there, but I can go in and take it out.
And if possible, replace the word sex with gender.
Well, we probably have to do that on the back end. Wait, keep scrolling down.
Oh, sure. Let me go back. I mean, this, like, all this I haven't touched. This is how it's been the whole time.
Right. There's...
I mean, it looks a bit clumsy in a sense that there's too many colors in close proximity. Need to find a better way of showing all this graph.
Okay. I can brainstorm a few ways then. Like I said, I'm a little leery of radar charts for this, just because it'd be a lot.
It doesn't have to be radar chart. I mean, even if we just move the axis right from horizontal to vertical, I think that, and then sort of compress the height a bit, that will still look fine, because then we can see. Right now it's like way too big to be in front of the face.
Right. Okay.
Have you seen?
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Have you seen Flourish?
No.
Check out Flourish. Flourish.studio.
Right, I'll do that.
I don't want to put like I don't want to get a third package, but it's I don't know, it's fancy. Keep scrolling down.
Sure.
To the radar chart.
Sure.
One question I had is the labels. Like it's unclear how the labels map to the radar, to the traits. Like the elite access enthusiasts, that kind of maps to the traits. But I don't really understand how the second two map. Because the second one I would imagine would be like a price sensitive segment, or like a merchandising segment. And then the third segment might be like, I would say the third segment is probably the fan engagement and the close seating.
I mean, the names are generated.
No, I
so
know.
like that's.
I know, but it's how are they generated? I would say that the second and third labels are probably swapped. Like the yellow seems like it's the interactive fan experience, and the blue seems like it's the value people.
Yeah. I mean, so that's something I'd look at in dev or in production more specifically, because I know those prompts I'm pretty sure Todvik has been working on. This data set is I just have purely for the purpose of like showing this plot. The data set itself and the categorizations here aren't updated with the newest prompt updates.
Oh, beautiful! I see. And then Subodh, when we add the latent variables, right now we don't look at any of the latent variables in the labels. Would we be looking at both the traits and the latent variables in the new labels?
So okay, so this is how the true latent class will work. We don't have attitudes at the moment, but if we fit a latent class model, the way it will be is following. The class membership will be a function of your traits, and then per class you have a model, basically let's say a model of your choice, and that will give you the feature importance of every feature. So if latent class tells you that okay, there's more than one class, it will reveal in its real true sense, because it's taking into account the choices made by people, because per class you are literally estimating a different model. At the moment it just takes the utility, it doesn't take what was chosen into account while building these classes. So once you estimate the model, for different options you have different utilities, right? So it could be that you have an option which has a higher utility based on your calculation for somebody, but that individual has not actually chosen that option. So hence you'll be misleading into the labels, that will lead to a misleading label. So until you take into account the actual choices that were made, we'll always have a scenario where some labels can be very, very off. And the only way to solve this issue is to actually estimate a latent class model.
But in this case, we only look at the choices made, correct?
No, we are looking at the utility, not the choice.
We're looking at the utility, not the choice. We're looking at the model.
No, so it's like, okay, so if I have three options, right? I estimated my model. Then I predict, let's say, the probability of every option, right? So it's, let's say, 0.4, 0.3, 0.3, right? So if you so then when you try to do a PCA on that, all the options which are higher will sort of go into one, then the second, then the third, right? But then what could have happened in your actual data, let's say the first one, which has 0.4, your model is saying 0.4, so it's highly likely to be chosen, but that individual might have chosen the third one. So there is a mismatch. Until you take into account both of them simultaneously, which is the true latent class model, you'll always have this weird labeling issues.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, Pablo.
Okay.
First of all, I think this is a really cool graph. From a pitch perspective, when I get to this part of presenting insights, the big point of this whole tab is, right, to show the similarities and or differences behind these mindsets or archetypes or whatever. And the big goal for stakeholders is not just defining the archetypes, but if you're a marketer, you want to focus on their lowest common denominator, right? So that when you're creating advertising, it touches the majority of the people and the forces or the attributes that are most relevant to them, right? Let's put our head in the stakeholder's mind, not ours. That's not like, it's their mind, their psychology, their outcomes, what matter. And so this is actually a great graphical representation, so I can see where the overlaps or otherwise are. Where I think there could be room of improvement is explaining that succinctly below, like on the language, where like the whole point is, what are the areas where I can maximize and optimize for overlap, and where are the areas where there's the greatest degree of delta? That's the biggest point behind this.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll note that down. Thank you.
And of course, Subodh, thank you for being a professor and teaching us more.
All right. Thanks for that demo, Vinay. Do we have any other demos? Anybody else with the demo?
I have the sprint plan, but I don't know if this is the right forum to go over the sprint plan.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Stand by. Okay, here it is from. Oh, wait a second. I'm doing it wrong. Share my screen. All right. All right, sprint plan. So there's a couple conferences coming up. SampleCon, the NYU finals, and this AI marketing conference in San Francisco. So I'll be living out of my suitcase. DevOps work. Chin's going to help confirm the AWS credits. It sounds like that is 2 years. I'm also going to try to extend the Azure credits by 1 year, which I haven't done yet. And then for marketing automation, Chin and Florian are going to help Mia and Lucy by running 1,000 experiments and sending invitations. to 1,000 product managers. And then we're going to invite 1,000 VCs to our platform, which I started doing this week. And then scheduling 3 VC meetings per day. We'll see how that goes. For sales, the objective is to get calendar density, 3 meetings per day for Nick and Pablo. For experimental design, the launch of the website, Tushar, I can sit with you after stand-up. Refactoring the front end. Mahdi, Tushar, Hadi, and Subodh have a bunch of different ideas for different tools we can use so that we're not like coding the UI from scratch. Shad CN for UI, Hadi, thank you very much. Zoo Stand for state management, Zob for validation. So this is just kind of like cleaning up the front end. Mahdi is quarterbacking that. Loading up Syed's POC so that users can load product data. And then we also have the loading of the personas as well. I think that's coming from Mahul. Subodh, Subodh, I'm not sure if you want to do this one, but if you want to add the psychological constructs or the attitudes for the latent variables, feel free. For the respondent agents, Mahul, Atish, and Ambuj, Atish is going to get the next best action question running as an endpoint, which will be exciting, so we can ask the 5 whys. If we can get the leaderboard results promoted, that would be really helpful. We spent a lot of money running those experiments. Let's kind of tell the world and build a Scale.ai style leaderboard so that we can kind of show off our work. Ambuj, we're going to see if we can get the interactive chat agent into the UI. There's a couple of suggestions to reduce the mean absolute error. I don't know if that's this sprint or the next sprint, but there's a couple of ideas that we have that may be able to reduce the mean absolute error. Removing Pydantic, it's an experiment. It might not work. Don't do this in a destructive way. Do it in a way that's feature flagged. See if an internal consistency check would reduce the mean absolute error, where you throw out the tasks that aren't internally consistent. Again, this may work, this may not work, who knows. Default DCEs to be binary to reduce the mean absolute error. Again, might work, might not work. Run some tests to see if it works. Only include the fix if it actually helps the system. Again, Subodh's quarterbacking, maybe not for this sprint, maybe for next sprint. And then for Tatvik, the new analysis prompts, make sure the causal insights are focused on achieving the business objectives. And then Tatvik had a couple of other prompts she wanted to adjust. Adding the entire dashboard results in either a PDF export, and then I guess Linnea the spider graph, which isn't in here, but yeah, those are the high level tasks. Any questions? Is any of this new or surprising?
What's in the NYU Berkeley finals, Fabi?
We made it to the finals of this startup competition, and so we'll be pitching on the 22nd to see if we to see if how well we do.
So there will be some sort of demo and there will be people judging it.
Exactly. And that's in New York if anybody wants to attend or join.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. All right. I think. Are you sure we don't have any other demos? I felt like there were a lot of people who wanted to do demos.
Actually, there was a demo of the documentation because that's the only thing that is UI and visible, which I do. But we're over, so
I want to see Mehul's demo. That looked pretty good.
Mehul's not here.
Oh yeah,
He
he said
sent
it's
a screenshot in
good.
chat. Yeah, so maybe next time he'll show us. But yeah.
There was a discussion we were supposed to have about age groups and names and labels for age groups and that kind of stuff.
Uh,
I don't know if this is the right time to do it.
yeah, I would say probably not a stand up, but that you could maybe meet with the engineers or make a ticket.
Yes, I think the issue is there are a lot of people with different opinions about it. So it's not a capabilities thing. It's a product thing.
Yeah,
It's
I would say unless we have a. Oh, sorry.
Let's hear it quickly. Go ahead, Nick. What is it that you think should change?
Well, there are a lot of demographic segments that have names, and I personally don't think we should do that. Like for example, when I was looking at the platform after we released it, there was an age group which is 35 to 50-year-olds or something like that, and we named them middle-aged. And I think most 35-year-olds would find that offensive.
Okay, and that is in the market simulator, in the analytics.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm saying, don't give them names. You have nothing to gain by giving them names. A lot of researchers just go with the description. Like, you say $25 to $50,000 a year, or you say 25 to 34-year-olds. Don't give them a name. We have nothing to gain by giving them a name. It's a trap. You're more likely to offend people than to make progress. So and then like the census and most other researchers, they do like 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44. In 10-year increments, or really 9-year increments. And then, and then they either do like 65 plus or 75 plus. So that's what I personally recommend. So if anyone disagrees, then let me know. I do feel pretty strongly about this, as I did research for over 20 years, and like I think it's okay to name the segments that we create in the market simulator. I think it's okay if we define a segment and give it a name. That helps people understand what this segment is, and I think those names are generally pretty good. But to describe simple demographic groups, I just don't think it's a good idea. So I'm actually saying, take stuff away, take the labels away. That's all. And then let's make sure the breaks actually are widely used. Like, when people target TV audiences, it's like 25 to 34, or whatever, 35 to 54-year-old. So which means if marketers use these groups, I think researchers need to use these groups.
Yeah.
It will only be the age, right? That will probably would have labels. Nothing else would
Well,
have
income has labels as well.
Okay.
And we call someone, we call people who make less than $25,000 a year frugal. They're not frugal. They're not making less than 25 by choice. Let's not label them. Like, people don't want to be labeled based on this stuff.
Yeah.
Got it. Why don't we do this? Because I think it's very interesting and good feedback. Nick, can you like? It seems like it's just a few or a handful of these areas. Can you like create a list and we can have a session to kind of brainstorm or expound on it? This is a stand-up, friendly reminder, and so I want to make sure that we ingest that because I like where you're.
I reported age and income in
Oh, okay, great.
in one of the channels. But I think there are differing views. So you tell me how we resolve differing views. Or if
Where on what channel?
the bug hunting.
Hunting, yeah, see.
So Todavik, I think, is the person disagreeing there, and she has electric issues today, which is why she's not here. If I remember correctly, her argument was that having the labels makes the prompts generate more natural sounding descriptions of the graphs. Personally, I am more on Nick's side here. I think that creating these names is more divisive than helpful. But yeah, since Sadvik's not here, that was her viewpoint as she relayed it in the channel.
Yeah, maybe make a ticket and come to the next sprint planning and prioritize it. Prioritize the ticket. I mean, ideally it's just about prioritizing, right? Like if yeah, I'm sure. We can get to it eventually if customers are giving that feedback. The other thing we could maybe do is maybe make sure that the labels, if they do help the prompts, which help the interpretation, maybe make sure that the prompts are always like positive, which is maybe a good rule anyway. But I don't know. I don't have a view one way or another. But make a ticket and talk with the team about it and get it prioritized.
Could we have like variables that are non-public, like hidden, like variables, and then some that are?
We could, but again, it's prioritized. Yeah.
For prompt, we use it, but we don't show it.
Right.
That's totally doable.
All right, I think there are a lot of solutions to this. We can just figure it out. Probably not right now. Maybe make a ticket and we'll just go through it. So,
Who is making the ticket? I keep hearing make a ticket, but who?
Whoever's requesting it.
I can make the ticket, although, well, Pablo, I'll let you know if I need help.
Okay, sounds good.
Last time I had trouble. Actually, I had trouble seeing a ticket you'd made. So anyway, talk about it offline.
No, it's a good idea. The idea of always being positive. That's a really important thing, especially when dealing with language models, right? Because we always want to have that bias towards never offending if we can.
yeah, I think thank you, Nick, for bringing that up. I'm also siding with you on that. I don't think we need like those labels, but anyway, I think we covered everything. We covered all the demos. We're pretty over by like 20 minutes, but yeah, as we always say, just stay in the channels, work in pairs, and yeah, have a nice day, you guys.
Hey guys, great demos. Great demos.
Yeah.
Thank you.